Okay, hello everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Well, first of all, my name is Mike Schenck, and I've been a turnkey for about 10 and a half years now. So I've probably worked with one or two of you over that time, the last 10 and a half years or so. So today I will be speaking about the new GP 18.2. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so one of the greatest reasons to upgrade to GP 18.2 is that now GP is leveraged to take advantage of all the latest technology from Microsoft, that being SQL Server 2019, Windows Server 2019, and Office 2019. This is the only GP version capable of using these products. So in order to do that, if you want to use the latest technology, GP 18.2 is the way to go. SQL 2019 was released November of last year, I believe, so it's been out almost a year. Windows Server and Office 2019, they've been around a couple years. I think they were released in the fall of 2018. So some of this technology has been around, but it just hasn't been able to be used by any of the GP versions prior to this one. Okay, so there have been a number of enhancements to this version, and I'm going to take a look at some of the new features in GP 18.2. First of all, there is a new option in payable setup for very long descriptions up to 200 characters. That is big because I know currently I think it's around 50 or something like that. So it's quite a large increase for those descriptions. And they do display on those on the pages that I show you there, the transaction entry, the payables transaction entry zoom, and then the PM transaction inquiry. It also, that long description will also print on several of the common check forms, such as like the check with stub on top, check with stub on top and bottom, you know, the ones that most people use. It does not post to the GL though. It does not show that when it is posting to the GL. And there is a checkbox for controlling that feature. So when you're in payables management setup, you'll see at the very bottom right there whether or not you want to turn it on or not. Okay, the journal entry window, inquiry window, now has a new field that shows the user who posted the entry. There are so many times when we're like, well, all right, well, who did this? Well, we don't know. I mean, there's ways to find out. There's some ways that we can go and, you know, in a long way around to try to find out. But now there's actually a field that shows the user who posted, and it will show for both the open and the historical entries. And you can see that at the top right there, the user who posted on the right side, that field is very visible right there. That I think is a nice feature as well. Okay, you can now attach documents in the following windows in bank rec. So the bank deposit entry, bank transaction, oh, I got it on there. Oh, that should be the bank deposit entry zoom, sorry, and the bank transaction entry zoom. So those places that we can't actually do the document attach in bank rec. And you'll see here, this is just one of them, the bank transaction entry. If you look at the top left there, you see the attach button in the actions pane. Okay, in the edit payment batch window, there's displayed a visual queue now to identify vendors that are set up to receive EFT payments. So for example, in this here, you will see over on the left-hand side on the list of your vendors. Next to advanced 0001, you see the little icon. That's the indicator that shows that this vendor is set up for EFT. Okay, in the apply sales document window, you can now see the check or card number that was entered on the payment at the time of entry. That new field is, of course, named check card number and displays what was entered at the time of payment. And you can see it listed there. if you look on the left-hand side, right underneath the document number, check/card number field. Okay, switching over to payroll a little bit. In the build payrolls checks window, you can now specify the check must include additional federal, state, or local taxes. And those fields are selected by default to retain the existing functionality, because right now you cannot do that. And that's why these settings are marked as default, but you can uncheck the boxes if you want. And then these settings are saved with the default ID. So when you're in there in the build payrolls checks window, if you look at the right-hand side towards the bottom, you see those 3 boxes now for include additional taxes for federal, state, local. Again, the default is that they are all checked, but you can uncheck them if you do not need them for this particular check. And then as you can, if you go back up to the default ID in the top left of the window, that's where you would save that, and you could save that, and it would save with that default ID. So you can have multiple default IDs depending on what you're trying to do. And staying with payroll, you can now bulk assign codes to 1 or more employees for the following codes. And they're listed there, as you can see. So a couple in payroll, and the rest are all in the HR. The way to do that is to go to the quick code assignment window from the deduction setup window, as you can see here. And then you can mark all or unmark all, or you can individually mark the employees you want to assign the code to. As you can see, you can also, there's ranges in there as well. So you can also select various ranges that you want to update. And then the code type would be at the top. Those are the different codes that you would select. And then if you wanted to assign those to any of the individuals, you can do it here. That should save some time as well. Also, you can now reprint pay statements for an entire check run. In the reprint journals window, you choose reprint pay stub, specify the audit trail code, and this will print a duplicate pay stub report for all the employees included for that check run. This is what it would look like here. And again, if you wanted to set it up for with different restrictions, different audit trail codes, etc., you could do that. That saves some time as well in case you need to do it for the entire batch. Okay, now let's switch over to SmartList a little bit. There are some new search options, so users do not need to change dates in the search criteria. So the 4 listed here now: prior month, prior period, next month, and next period. So for example, I'll give you an example. Let's say we used, and there they are listed. Let's say we used today's date as the system date. So if you would choose prior month, then you would just get all the values from August 1st through August 31st. If you choose next month, then you get all the values from October 1st to October 31st, etc. And then the periods, again, those would fall in line as well. So those 4 you see down at the bottom listed there are new to SmartList. Okay, in the user access setup window, you can change the sort order of the companies that the user can access by company name or company ID. Comes in very handy if you have several companies. So for example, as you can see the drop-down box there, you can either use the company ID or company name. So if you have, I know you have some company or some customers that have up to 100 companies. So if you wanted to, you could actually use the search filter there, the find by company name, or if you would check the company ID, it would say find by company ID, and then you can use that search function there. So another easy way if you just wanted to access or set up individuals or users in certain companies. Okay, and the last one I'll show you today involves the ability to copy report options. You can now copy report options from another report to the current report, make your changes, and save those changes. It's a fast way to set standard values for different reports. So what you do here is you, for example, you're just I just chose receivables trial balance report here. If you wanted to set up one that you've already have and just kind of tweak it, you just do that copy from and select it there. Okay, and so what I've shown you is just a few of the new features in GP 18.2, but as you can see, it sounds like Microsoft has listened to the end users and made those enhancements that most users will find very useful. And I actually think this is the best version of GP that they've released. Okay, so now that you're all excited about this version, you want to know how you can get it, right? Okay, so there are two versions of GP that will upgrade to GP 18.2. They are GP 2016 and GP 2018. However, there are certain service pack levels for each of them that you must be on, and those are listed here. So for GP 2016, you must be on 16.000716, and I'll show you where to check that. And for 2018, 18.00.0496. Okay, that's not to say that if you're not on these versions, you can't go to GP 18.2. What that means then is if you were on, let's say, GP 2015, for example, we would have to do what we call a double hop or a double upgrade. So what we would need to do is take you from your current version and upgrade you first. Very first thing to do is upgrade you to one of these versions. And then the next hop or next upgrade would be to go up to GP 18.2. Okay, so we've actually even done, it's been a while, but we've actually done triple hop where we've taken people from even GP 2010 and gotten them up to GP 2018 over several hops, over several days. Okay, so to verify that exact version that you have, which is the service pack level, you would click on Help. It's that little blue icon in the top right corner of GP. And you select About Microsoft Dynamics GP, and this is what will come up. You'll see your full version listed in the first field on the right-hand side under Version Information. See where it says Microsoft Dynamics GP, and my version that I have here is 16.00.0814. So that one is eligible. Okay, any questions? Zach, would they be giving you? Did they write any questions or anything? If that's the case.
I'm not seeing any yet. Let's give them a few more seconds, though, just in case people are still typing.
Yep. Sure.
Doesn't look like any are coming through, so I guess if we want to go ahead and hand it off to Sean.
Sure. Okay. Well, I want to thank everybody for their attention, and yes, I'll hand it over to Sean, and he's going to talk about the GP web client. So take it away, Sean.
Thank you, Mike. Yeah, let's go ahead and share. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. And the other part of the new GP version, of course, is the web client. So there's been just very few enhancements in this version of GP for the web client, but that continuation of, adding new features and things like that, they do continue to work on improving it and making sure that it's kind of a seamless integration between, okay, if you used to be a standalone desktop client. Now the web client is getting more and more intuitive and closer to that feel between them, so that there wouldn't be any of that disconnect if you did retire somebody off of using the desktop version to using the web client version. So there's a few things in this enhancement. The autocomplete is now part of the web client. The autocomplete is whenever you go in and you start typing into a field, it gives the drop down where you can select those options within there of things that you've typed in before. So that's now part of the web client functionality. They've added a quick link for our smart list right up into the header, where that wasn't just something that was quick and easy to jump to before. You had to go through a few hoops to get to it. So now they've just made it quick and easy based off of user feedback. And then another piece that they added was the ability to maximize the window for selecting the bank transactions in the bank reconcile window. So few enhancements ranging around the system, but let me go ahead and show you the web client. If you've never seen it before, this is a good way to kind of see how things will work. But let's go ahead and pull this in real quick. So GP Web Client sits within the browser. Of course, you can take that and deploy that out for other users so that they could utilize the web client in an outward-facing environment potentially, or if you just don't want to have the stress of having to upgrade and set up the client version and things like that on multiple different machines or whatever it may be, the web client is a good option for that. Look and feel of the web client is pretty similar. Those topics that we were discussing, let's go ahead and we'll pull those open and work through just a real quick introduction on how those function. So let's go ahead and we'll get to my customer. I wanted to show this window. I think this is a nice window that they've added to it. Just kind of a quick search from the web client to be able to find the window that you want to jump to. So if you say, hey, go find the customer maintenance card to make the update that you want, this window would allow a web user to find that pretty quickly and easily. So just wanted to show that was something that they've added into this functionality actually in GP 2016. But the type ahead, the autocomplete functionality is just that drop-down menu that you get here. So this is a capability now in the newer version of the web client that user can access and take advantage of as they go through, and of course look up and things from there. So the other one that was in the list of new features was the smart list link up here at the top. It just shows up next to the drop down here for showing which company you're in. You used to have to drop underneath here and potentially grab smart list, but now it's just one of those things where it's just directly in the header up here at the top, making it easy and accessible to everyone to begin with. So ability to jump into the smart list directly from the home page. And then the last one, and this apparently just aggravated some individuals, was the ability to not be able to expand that bank reconcile window while you're selecting the checks. It used to be pretty scrunched to begin with. So now you're able to take that, and as you're selecting the transactions that you want in your bank reconcile, you're able to expand that window. So I'll just try to quickly show this as we work through here. Okay, and then from there you're able to take this, of course, and then expand it to the full width, and it used to just remain scrunched like that, and they've added it in now where it sizes up. So again, continuing to make those quality of life improvements on the software. It's increased in speed. I'm still getting used to navigating around how this functions and things of that sort, but it's getting better, it seems like to me, from my experience, and more in tune with what I'm used to on the desktop client, because that's where I was born and raised on GP. So if you have any additional questions or anything along those lines with the web client, or you're interested in seeing more of the web client, do not hesitate to reach out. It's an exciting piece of functionality that is available to every GP user, depending on the version that you're on. So if you are interested, just be sure to reach out with any questions that you have. Let Zach know, let myself know, and we can go from there. I appreciate your time. Thank you.